Hi everyone, good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. So in this video, I'm going to show you how to solve absolute value inequality. Okay, so remember, what is the first step to solve absolute value inequality? Is to isolate the absolute value. Okay, so we want to isolate the absolute value right here. Okay, what are you going to do? Okay, there's the first step. You're going to undo the positive 4 plus 4 by minus 4 on both sides. And then you want to divide by 2 to undo multiplication of 2. Alert, alert, alert. Okay, we do not want to distribute the 2. This is not parenthesis. Okay, the absolute value is not the parenthesis. Okay, you cannot do anything with the, that's why the only thing you can do is to isolate the absolute value. Do not distribute the two, thinking that the absolute value works the same thing as the parenthesis. No, parenthesis and absolute value are not the same. Okay, you cannot touch anything inside the parenthesis. I mean, and inside the absolute value. Okay, you cannot touch anything inside when you have the two vertical line for absolute value. Okay, so please pause the video and isolate the absolute value. Okay, so for the first step, we are subtracted 4. Okay, now for the second steps, we want to isolate the absolute value. You want the absolute value to be all alone on the left side of the inequality. So what are you going to do? Again, to undo multiplication of 2, we divide by 2 on both sides. Okay, so now we see the absolute value is all by itself. Okay, and that was the goal, right? The absolute value is all by itself. Okay, so now when you have a less than equal to a positive number, so I know it has, yeah, the absolute value inequality has solutions. Let's find them. So we know you want to find all the numbers that have a distance equal to 1 and equal to positive 1, less than or equal to positive 1. So how are you going to do this? So we know on the number line there are two sides on the number line. That give us number that have a distance less or equal to positive 1. Okay, on the right side is going to be positive 1, and on the left side you're going to have negative 1. Right, so on the number line, let's say this is 1 and negative 1. Okay, all this number between all this number here are less than 1, and all this number over here on right here between negative 1 and 0 compared to negative 1 are greater than negative 1. Okay, so that's a notation. Okay, so now you want to get x by itself. Now the goal, now we isolate the absolute value. We reward the absolute the inequality without the absolute value. Okay, so next is to get x alone. How do we get x alone? So the goal here, you want to add 1 on both sides to undo the negative 1. So please add 1 on both sides. Okay, so I'm done solving the absolute value inequality. So basically, the number that we give, that we make this inequality true, that give us a distance less or equal to 1, are the number between 0 and 2, and you want to include the number 0 and number 2, because x can be equal to 2, and it can be also equal to 0, because the line under the inequality means equal. Okay, so this is the solutions. And if you want to graph it, let's graph it on the sides. Let's say this is 0. Okay, so on the number line, so this is, let's say this is 1, 2. Okay, so because I have, oh, sorry, I noticed okay, typo. Okay, okay, I started with less than. I don't know how I end up with less than equal to. So sorry, let me fix it. It's the same principle. Okay, but this time around we don't want the inequality. Let me word out, I lied earlier, sorry. So you don't want the inequality to be equal, I mean the x to be equal to the numbers. Okay, so what does it mean if you don't have so the x cannot be equal to 2, it has to be less than 2. Okay, and 0 cannot be equal to x cannot be equal to 0. Okay, because originally I gave you with no line under. I apologize for the confusion. Okay, things happen. So now how do we fix it? So I fixed it already. Okay. So now how do we graph it? Because we don't want x to be equal to 0, neither to 2, I'm going to make an empty dot at 0 and empty dot at 2. And since we're finding the distance that is less than 1, okay, so this number needs to be within. Okay, so I'm going to shade, it's going to be all this number right here. Between 0 and 2. I don't know if you can see that. Okay, so make sure you have an empty dot at 0, and at 2 you have empty dot. So this is my empty dot, it's not 0. So empty dot means do not include the x value as part of the solution. Okay, so the number that we make this inequality true are the number between 0 and 2, not including 0 and 2. Okay, why? Because if you plug 0, let's see. So I plug 0, let's check our work. And absolute value of -1 is +1. So now is positive 1 less than 1? No, it's not less, it's equal. Because there's no line on inequality, this inequality is not true. So it's false. So I just want to show you, like, you have to make sure to be solution, it has to be so the solution, the x value needs to be number between 0 and 2, not including 0, the number 0, neither the number 2. Okay, thank you for paying attention, and have a wonderful day, and see you into the next video.